Okay, we back again for another Crossfaded podcast, take 2. Yep, because we already recorded one today and it went to shit because I forgot to record my audio. But anyway, we're back. We back with Blunt Fact. What's going on, my brother?
I'm good, man. I'm feeling pretty crossfaded. You know, just finished that second joint as we fucked up the first recording. Got another Remy Martin and pineapple right here. You know,
that's the way. That's what I'm talking about.
Feeling good, man.
Right, so let's jump straight into it. So, we've talked about quite thoroughly at this point the prison industrial complex.
Yeah.
And we were talking about statistics and numbers and why. So why is the rate of prisoners in the US so high, and what is it currently at?
Well, currently it's 2,193,798.
Wow.
According to these numbers, which could have changed by now. You never know. There could be a few more on there, but basically it's because prisons are run by private corporations in America, and they set a quota and stuff for like a 90 to 100% inmate occupancy rate, and basically if the states don't match that, then they have to pay for any of the empty beds in the prison, which obviously will come from taxpayer money as well, so you'll have to pay for it if they don't meet these certain numbers that they need to have in jail.
Yeah.
So they enforce the rest quotas.
Yeah, so it's basically a business, right? I mean, when you've got that many people in prison and those are the statistics, it's obviously because it's running from a business perspective, which is completely, totally and morally wrong.
Yeah. I mean, the reason these private corporations are in power of the prisons is because they're running them more cost effectively, apparently, which just means that they have to cut back, and you have to question if they're even violating human rights with some of the things they're cutting back with. I mean, like, they're spending the least amount of money possible that they can on all of these prisoners.
Yeah.
Like, you have to question if that's right.
Exactly. And they've got a lot of them working, like, jobs and stuff in prison, getting paid, like, I think it's something like $1.25 an hour, which is slave labor, basically. And that's how they're making their money. They've got them working slave labor.
Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I mean, you're there to rehabilitate, so I understand, like, working a job and something, but pay them a decent wage if they're going to do an actual job. Like, I mean, they're doing their part there. Teach them about reward from a job as well, because you don't just work a job so you know how to work. You work a job so you can get money to live, so you got to teach them that aspect of it too, because people don't stick with jobs that are really low pay. Well, they shouldn't, at least. I don't know if everybody does, but you should get what you deserve from doing a job, and they should really teach them that as well, because otherwise it brings a negative perspective onto it, because nobody's going to want to do work for like not the amount of worth you're doing it for. Like,
exactly.
If you're getting paid nothing.
I mean, I've always thought the entire ideology behind prison is barbaric. I mean, essentially what you're doing is you're taking somebody who's done something wrong. I mean, I know it depends on situation and events, but you're taking somebody and putting them in a cell, you're putting them in a cage where they're told what to do, when to do it, when to eat, when to go to sleep. It's not healthy, and it's not an effective way of rehabilitating somebody. I think people need to learn through education and methods that actually benefit the individual, not just teaching them that you do something bad, you get punished harshly for it. But it's not the right, and it's definitely not case for case, decisions on what someone has personally done as to what punishment they receive. Why is the punishment the same for every crime? I mean, it's not right.
It really isn't. I mean, the fact that anybody feels that they have the right to cage in another human being, it just baffles me that anybody feels that they have the right to do that to someone else. I mean, it's crazy. Imagine you just grab someone on the street and put them in a cage. I mean, you'd feel bad about that. No one would be okay with that, but that's what they're doing. I mean,
well, yeah, there was
there
was a psychology experiment done. I can't remember the psychologist who did it, but basically, in a famous university got a bunch of students, volunteers, to play as prison guards, and a bunch of students to play as prisoners. They all signed contracts, blah blah blah. It's all very formal. And what they found is that the prison guards took on the role of being an actual prison guard. Although they were students, so were the prisoners. They treated them like a real prisoner would be treated. You know what I mean? Like, they took on that role mentally. And the guy who ran the experiment, he got so heavily involved in it, so heavily involved in being the prison warden, that he forgot what he was doing, and his wife had to stop him. So that just goes to show that that mentality is so easily adopted, and that is why there's so much cruelty and brutality within the prison system.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think I need to watch that. To be
Yeah,
honest.
I'll find you the video, man.
Interesting. I'll read up. That's it's crazy that someone can just fall into the trap like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's madness.
Yeah, it just goes to show how easily anybody can adopt it, man. You know, you give anybody authority or power over somebody, and look what happens. You know.
Yeah, it just takes control of them, man. And go on a big power trip, and
yeah, it's
just horrible, man.
Not right.
It's sick how other people can treat other humans like that.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how people can be so horrible and harsh and see people suffering and having a horrible time and just be okay with it.
Well, what they've also found is that as long as another experiment was conducted, and again I don't remember the guy who ran it or the woman, but it was basically they gave these people, you know, strangers off the street, a button to press, and it administered pain to another person. It didn't really, but they were believed to think that it did. And what they found is, as long as the responsibility wasn't on their shoulders, they'd be happy to press the button, even if it got to fatal levels where it would possibly kill them.
That's crazy. How do people do this? I really don't understand.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you delve into human psychology and what, you know, what is possible by the average individual who you think wouldn't be capable. But depending on the circumstances, it showed, you know, people are willing to commit horrible crimes.
As long as they're not held responsible, then it's all fine. That's absolutely crazy. I don't think I could ever think like that.
No, I think it also illustrates though how you know, the Nazi people in charge of the gas chambers could do it, because they felt maybe like these people, as long as the weight of the crime wasn't on their shoulders, they were okay with that.
Yeah, that's a pretty dark topic, but
yeah, it is, but it's interesting.
It is the same mentality there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's not their decision, then, you know, no weight on their shoulders. I wonder how they really felt, though. It would be interesting to read what a true statement from a Nazi soldier who wasn't necessarily in on it, but just got dragged in because, you know, you get drafted into the army. You just have to go, don't you? If there's a war like that on, you just get pulled from your home and you got to do what they say.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely some, you know, reports out there, you know, some documentaries about their perspective. But it's definitely not something that's taught in schools, is it? Like, when you talk about school, you're talking about a very narrow-minded perspective. You're only taught that, oh, your country's great and everyone else is to blame, you know, for bad things happening in history.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I haven't seen that from school, like a real Nazi soldier perspective, is just seems silly. Like, it would be really interesting. It would make you a lot more interested in the topic if you could see both sides of the story and, you know, see what's really happening there.
Yeah.
See into the minds of the people. It would help you understand it more, at least. You might find more interest in it, I think.
I mean, when you're growing up, you see, you know, cowboy and Indian movies, and you're like led to believe the cowboys are the good guys, but really, the Indians were defending their land, and like, you never taught in school that, you know, they went over there, took over the lands, and killed like 100 million Native Americans. It's like disgusting.
It was a massacre, an absolute massacre, a genocide, pretty much.
There's no justifying it.
Like, there's not. It's absolutely. So many things in the world just make me so sad. You know, like, I really just don't understand how people can do this to other people. It's really hard to believe for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things throughout history. People divided and conquered each other. But what is the core? What is the reason for it? Why do we need to do that?
don't know. I don't understand the reasoning behind it, man. I've never felt like that. I feel like, you know, we're all one people, and we should be with each other, helping out, you know, anyone around us. If someone needs help, why wouldn't you help them if you have the ability to do so? You know, just everybody doing their bit for the world, because we're all in this one world. And everybody's just divided by borders, countries. You know, you can't even go to a different country unless you have a valid passport. You have to get visas to go to most countries. Like, why can't we just enjoy the world? Why does there need to be all these borders and regulations like that, where you can't even go around your own world that you're a human in without getting stopped and flown back to your own country because you don't have the proper papers to be in this other land? Like, whose world is it to say that you can't go there because you don't have the right documentation or whatever like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always found that crazy how all these borders and laws forbid you from traveling somewhere else. It's like, this is Earth, this is the place we were born. Why do we need to be told where we can and can't go? It's ridiculous. And it's all about dividing and conquering, isn't it, really? Because if everyone was unified, then you wouldn't tolerate wars, would you? No. It's only because there is that separation that we do, you know, allow wars to take place.
The mentality today as well is people, you know, thinking their country's better than every country in the world. Patriotism, like, oh yes, God bless America, you know, God save the Queen, all this, like, patriotism. And it's just, we don't need to be like that. We're all people in this world. We don't need to be better than each other. We need to be the same as each other so we can all live equally. Like, and it causes a lot of hate then, do you know what I mean? Between races and things like that. Just because people love their own country so much, they'll hate anyone from any other country, or they'll just shrug off what they don't know and what they're not taught. Yeah,
it's, you know, our views that we learn through school and as a child really mould us as we grow older, unless we learn to acknowledge that we do have, you know, other people's ideologies bestowed upon us, and we adopt them as our own then, and that's where it gets to become a problem, you know?
I know, you definitely need to grow up and work out what you want and what you think in life, and, you know, do your own independent research, look up things, read everything you can, and then make your own informed decision. Don't just believe what you're told, make an informed decision on something, you know? You gotta do a lot of research into life before you decide how you're gonna live your entire life. I mean, it's a big thing. You could waste your whole life in this system, or you could realise, you know, that's not what's necessary for me in life. Yeah. That's just what I'm told to do, and you know, it's quite bad what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I watched this documentary the other day, and it was about how in a lot of ways we're like cattle, just designed to produce money for the, you know, the upper classes, the governments, and, you know, in tax money and stuff. We're just fuel for the machine, to put it one way.
No, I definitely agree there. Everybody, you know, Dirty Dyke's lyric, I'm getting pissed off because I'm getting ripped off by my very rich boss. It's so relevant, you know? It really does make sense. Like, bosses are making absolute tons of money, and then you've got people working for minimum wage, you know, the least amount of money they can pay them. Like, they don't think, oh no, this person's doing a service for me, maybe I'll, you know, pay them a decent rate, pay them what they deserve for their job. We'll just pay them the minimum amount we can pay them, and it's fine, because we'll get away with that, because it's minimum wage, you know. It's wrong how people go in with that mentality. I really think people should be paid for the job they do. If they're really good at their job, then pay them for the work they do. If they bring a lot of money to your business because of their skills, then pay them rightly for that, you know, because we need money in this world. So if you've got a really good skill, then you should be paid accordingly to that skill, but obviously not like to massive extents, like thousands and thousands a week, but you know, to a certain limit, so you can be a little bit more well off because you put more hard work and put that time and effort into it, but not so well off that there's a massive divide in communities and society where there's rich people and poor people. We should all be, you know, around the same.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I know what you're saying, because in New York recently it was reported people with full-time jobs, man. People who work, 40 hours a week. They're homeless in New York because New York is so expensive to live in. I don't know like exactly how expensive, but very expensive to the point where people can work full-time and they can't afford a place to live, man. Can't afford a place to rent, and they're just homeless, like, and they're working full-time. It's crazy. And it just goes back to what you were saying, like, people need to be paid accordingly to not just like what job they do, because every job that is about customer service, you're serving other people. Everyone should at a bare minimum be paid a wage that allows them to live a life, not just exist, but to actually live, because that is what every human being should be entitled to.
I know that's not. I didn't really point that out too much when I was saying it, but that I do agree with that. You should be. Everyone on the minimum should be at least be able to live happily and provide all of their family and people they know. They should be able to live a happy life and not have to be depressed and not be able to do something because they haven't got the money to do it. They can't buy their kids a Christmas present because they haven't got the money to do it. Like, that's just wrong. That we should all be. Able to live a happy life, a decent life for your family and yourself.
Yeah.
I think it should be a requirement. And the fact that homelessness exists when, we could easily afford to build these people like a house, build a block of flats, give 100 homeless people a home, like every few weeks. I don't know how long it takes them to build it, but you could do that. Build a place for these people to live. Give them existing buildings. Rich people with like just holiday homes and homes with like 9 bedrooms and things like that. Make them take on the people who don't have a place to live, because it's unfair that anyone should live like that when people are living completely the opposite to that, in complete luxury with absolutely no worry in any of their life. When other people live through depression and just stress because all they have to do is work every single day just so they can keep a house or keep food on the table. I really think we need a lot more equality in this world. There's too much of a massive divide between cultures, and it's wrong. We definitely need equality here.
Wow, wise words, my friend. Wise words. Definitely a lot to take in there. But yeah, definitely I agree with everything you just said. But yeah, it's true, in this day and age with the technology and resources we have available, there is no reason any human being should be homeless. It's just preposterous. But the only reason there is homelessness is because in capitalism and the current mindset we have in Western society, it's get rich as you can, fuck everybody else. And that's a mentality that has caused the planet to come to near levels of destruction, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. We need to completely abandon that mentality and live as people on this world. We're all one fucking peoples. All one peoples. And,
I agree.
We can all live together in happiness and we can all help a brother out. Just, just do what you can to help out anybody you can. And just make the world a better place for your community around you. I think we need to focus more on a smaller community around us and help the people, just near to us and things like that. Help anyone you can. If they're having a hard time in life, help them out if you can. Just make it a bit easier for them. Let them be happy. Let them do what they want to do. Like if you're really well off and you see someone who's really, really struggling, help them out.
Yeah.
Don't just think about yourself. Think about the whole world as one. Because there's a lot of other problems going on than your life. Like. You're a lot happier than most people, I would imagine. A lot of people are a lot happier than most people in the world. And it shouldn't be like that. Everyone should be able to be as happy as they like and just do what they want to make them happy.
Yeah.
Equality is the basic thing we're missing in this world. We all just need to live as one and all be the same, to be honest.
People always think, the key to success and happiness in life is to have the most. Got to get that new car, got to get that promotion, got to get that new, whatever it is. But that's not it, because the more you chase those things, the more unhappy it makes you, because you become so obsessed with it. But real happiness, it's an old quote, but it's true. Real happiness stems from within. And until you can learn to be happy with who you are right now, and who you are right now, you will never be happy, because it's all about accepting and realizing what you have, not what you can get or what you want.
Yeah. You should live every day with a smile on your face instead of wasting years of your life thinking that one day you can have what you want. Just do what you want from the start, from the get-go. Just live every day with a smile on your face, not with the belief that one day you can have what you want because you've done all of this for this many years, lived in depression for this many years, so you can be happy later in life. I really don't think that's a right mentality. I think you should live every day trying to put a smile on your face, do what you love, do what really makes you happy. Don't live a day depressed and stressed and angry because you're doing something you hate, but you know one day it'll get better. You can make it better today if you just do what you love. Find yourself, find what you really love, what puts a smile on your face, and do that. Just follow your passions, follow your heart, follow your dreams, follow everything good. Like.
Well, you are a man filled with optimism at the core, aren't you, really? I mean, we say some dark stuff sometimes, but deep down I think we're both coming from a positive outlet, aren't we? We're both trying to spread some positivity in the world, because, you know, we can see the darkness. But it's up to like-minded people and everyone out there who listens and is, you know, fighting that struggle to create a better place to live. And good on you, because that's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah, do your bit. Just do whatever you can to help communities. And, you know, maybe you being nice to someone one day will stem to that person being nice to another person another day, because they think back to the time where, like, oh, I was in a really hard time then and this guy helped me out. Maybe I'll help this guy out because I understand where he's been. And, you know, you can grow that mindset just by being nice yourself and doing good things. Live your life how you think life should be lived. And just try and not impose it on other people, but just open people's minds to this way of life, and maybe, you know, maybe they'll come to their own natural change, their own natural awakening of what life should be and how they really want to live. And they might find themselves, you know, they might not know themselves right now, they might just be living the life they were told, and maybe you could help them find themselves just by being yourself and showing them.
Yeah, I mean,
it's an option in life. You can do what you want.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I would really take from what you just said is, you know, all your actions have repercussions, whether good or bad. So, like you said, if you're nice to someone one day, they might be nice to someone the next day. And who knows, that could cause a chain link of events, that could cause something great happening in the world, you just don't know. But then you could do the opposite of that. You could go and be addicted to someone, and then they're going to be addicted to someone else, and it can cause a chain of negative events. So you've really got to be conscious of what you do and how you treat people. It's definitely something to take away from that.
Definitely. And you know, social media as well, the way everyone follows a trend on there, this is like linking to that chain link effect. Like, if one person posts something and it's really popular, then everyone will post that regardless if they believe it or not, or if they actually have any interest in it. They'll just post it because it's popular. And I think we need to change that mentality, you know? I think people need to just really stick to their beliefs. Find what they believe in and stick to their beliefs. Don't just do something because someone else is doing it. Don't live your life trying to be someone else. Always just do you, be you. Like
that's very true.
That's a strong message that I like to like get out there. You know,
I mean,
just always be you.
Yeah, exactly that. I agree 100%. But what I would really say though as well is that you know, you got to be yourself, like you just said. But it's about finding a belief you believe in, but also not being closed-minded to new information. Like, the problem with religion is that they accept those ideas and beliefs so strongly that if you bring to them a new idea or a new philosophy, they'll completely reject it. And that is why religious wars break out. So always be open to new information, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Always keep learning. Don't ever, like, just throw anything away instantly. Always do independent research on a subject. If you're controversial, if it's like a controversial subject you're not quite sure about it, just look up a few different sources, get a few different perspectives, and learn for yourself and create your own belief on that thing. Don't just believe, you know, what you're taught to believe, what everybody else believes.
Yeah.
Always, you know, research and make your own decision on something. Make an informed decision, definitely.
Exactly that. I mean, it's all about, like, if we want to talk about it from a spiritual perspective, maybe it's about, you know, finding what resonates with you. What do you truly agree with, you know? Because normally that'll guide you in the right direction. Never just take what someone says, whether it's news or government. for, you know, the word written in stone, because, you know, you never know when someone's trying to deceive or lie to you. You gotta be sure within yourself, you know?
Yeah. Find what lights that fire in your heart. Find what gets you really angry, really ragey, you know what I mean? When we talk about this, like, a bit more just violently and crazily, like, I get really heated when I think about these topics, you know what I mean? About the world and the way it is.
Yeah.
Like, find that passion, find what you're really fired up about, find what, like, really, it gets to you and you really want to make a change, because that's always something.
Yeah. How do you feel about, you know, I mean, I've asked you this a few times in the past, but, you know, if people haven't heard it, like, how do you feel about where the world's going? Like, do you see any, I know sometimes you can see the darkness involved in it, but, like, can you see any positives coming out of things lately? Like, what's good, what's bad? What do you think?
I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen.
Yeah.
That could make the world a lot of a better place, and there's smaller things that are happening. Like, I think you were telling me about a guy who planted like over 1,600 trees or something by himself.
Yeah, acres actually, but yeah, he planted
1,000 acres of trees. I mean, like, small things like that. People doing things like that for the planet is exactly what we need.
Yeah.
But we need it on a larger scale, you know? Like, there's so many things we could do. Like, again, solar power, and it's a lot of people are getting it on their houses. We're getting smaller solar farms, but if that was, like, you could take over the world with that energy, free energy for everybody, and the only reason it's not happening is because, you know, the oil and electricity companies, they're on top of things.
Yeah.
They're making their money, so why are they going to leave their business just so people can live for free? They're not going to make their money then. And they're stuck in that mentality, so they don't want to get out of that.
Yeah, I mean, like, Immortal Technique said, you know, Jesus could have been reborn by now, but he might have grown up in a Mexican hookah, and he might have, you know, died from poverty by now, because I've always been a strong believer that, you know, the most righteous people, the most world-loving people are the ones that grow up in poverty, because they learn to love life and they have nothing, a lot of them, you know, because they take everything and they appreciate it, whereas we take everything and we take it for granted. Like, we think, oh yeah, we got this, but we could have had that, you know. But when you grow up with,
just be happy with what you've got.
I mean, when you've got nothing, like, you see these people with nothing and they're happy, and it's like, why are they so happy? It's because they don't live a materialistic lifestyle, man, you know.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to piss real quick, Adam.
No worries.
Do you wanna? We can just cut this out of the recording.
We'll leave it in either way. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, we can cut the bit out, and you can just be like,
some
"Well,
shit while you're gone."
Yeah, talk some shit. I'll be right back.
But yeah, what I was talking about, when you don't have much in terms of possessions or, you know, items, and you're not chasing a materialistic goal, you tend to find you become happier, because you realize life is about experiences and growth and being good to people. That is what it's actually about. It's not about, oh, I've got this, but I want to get that. I'd be so much happier if I had that bigger house, that nicer car. It's not about that. It's about finding what you love and going with it. It's about passion. And that's what you've got to find for yourself if you haven't already. What's up, dude?
Yeah, man. Sorry about
You're
that.
Back. I went off on a little bit of a tangent about being happy and not chasing materialistic goals. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I agree with that tangent, man. I mean, yeah. Don't ever try and just be the richest.
You know,
get what you want and be happy with what you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've not got much right now. I'm poor as shit. I've got no money, but, you know, I've got myself some decent setup. I've got a nice PC that I love to play games on. I've got the things I need for that, and I'm content with that. I'm not, like, out trying to seek something else now, you know? I've got the things I wanted to get, and now I'm happy with that until, you know, maybe I want one more thing down the line, and I'll grab that, and then I'll be happy with that for a little bit longer. But, like, it's not a constant seeking for materialistic objects. It's more like, you know, just if you really, really need a piece of thing, like if you want something to make yourself, you know, be able to do the thing you like even more and do it better, then get that. But don't like just get stuff because it's popular. Or, you know, it's just like just don't waste all of this money that you're earning in such a horrible way on stupid shit that you really don't need.
Yeah.
And, you know, you probably forget about, you know. I mean, a lot of the stuff I get, I forget about. I don't buy expensive stuff all the time, though. I always go for, like, the cheaper things. So, you know, it's still bad that I'm wasting the money on things I don't really need, but I do get, like, you just forget about things you buy. If you're not really into it, then you forget about it. So if you've spent hundreds of pounds on something and then you just throw it away, you're just wasting this money you've earned illegitimately.
Yeah. Exactly that. You know, we can talk forever about being happy with little because, you know, we see through all the bullshit, don't we? We see through all the, you know, the propaganda and the American dream type philosophy. Even in the UK, it's quite prevalent. Oh, everyone can live the dream. Yeah, maybe if you're sleeping.
Is there a UK dream though? Is there actually like a written thing, the UK dream?
I mean, if so, who's living it?
I think maybe we should.
Certainly not me.
I think we should write out a UK dream, you know what I mean? And we can set the standard. We can be the first to write it. Here's the UK dream. You want to be free, be happy, live your life, you know.
Well, the whole I can't speak. The whole American dream philosophy is that if you work hard, you can have the things you want. Well, that's just not fucking true anymore. Even if it ever was, I'm not sure. But it's definitely not true anymore.
No, definitely not.
I mean, like I said earlier, you can work 40 hours a week and not even have a place to live. Is that a dream to you, or is that a fucking hell?
Yeah, that's a nightmare right there, mate. You know
doubt.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we've been on some dark topics now.
Yeah, I know,
let's,
man.
Let's talk about some light stuff, man. Let's give the people what they want.
Well, we talked about a lot of positivity as well, to be fair. But I see you going to the end of your Remy and pineapple there, sir.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to grab another soon, you know. Keep getting crossfaded. That's what we do. That's what we do.
Yeah, bro. But yeah, you know.
What else have you been doing recently, then, man? You know,
well,
we talked about all
I've been
this
trying to learn
politics
some
and
new
stuff.
skills.
What are you doing
I've
with
been
your
getting
life?
on this coding, learning some HTML, some CSS, and some PHP. For all you geeks out there, you know what that is already. But you know, for people who don't know, it's just basically basic programming, learning how to make a website, learning how to, you know, structure things online, so I can, if I need to, you know, create a little website or whatever. Cause it's a useful skill to learn, especially nowadays. A lot of the jobs, like for people who don't know, like if you look at statistics, jobs, they're all moving to online. Like jobs like social media and, you know, SQL developers and things like that. That's on the rise, you know. That's where jobs are moving to. And I think within the next 10-15 years, you're going to see not all businesses, but the majority of businesses die down and be more online orientated, you know?
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. A lot of internet stuff is happening recently. It's getting very, very big now. People are making a lot of money on the internet.
Yeah.
Just, you know, doing everything. So many kinds of things on the internet that are making a lot of revenue right now. So yeah, it is. I'm very interested in all this coding and stuff as well. I've been thinking about getting into myself recently.
Yeah, man, there's some great websites. Like there's a website. Shout out to, you know, Code Academy. They teach beginners the basics and, you know, the fundamentals you need to go on and learn the more complicated stuff. So it's really good. Sites like that are out there. You know, there's a lot of, you know, books out there as well, and the philosophy behind it and what it all means. So it's definitely a skill you can learn. You don't need to go to college to learn it. You can self-teach, that sort of thing. Yeah, again with the internet, definitely everything, all the knowledge you need is just easily accessible right now. You can just type anything into Google and you find the answer to it. Yeah,
so
definitely.
You know, you can learn anything. You can learn anything pretty much instantly with the internet.
It's definitely possible. It's a great source for information if used correctly.
It is. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Right.
So what you been doing, dude? What's interesting you right now? What's your passion?
As you know, man, I've been doing a lot of gaming, to be honest.
Nothing wrong with that, brother.
playing a lot of that Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike, you know, it's an addictive game. We are fans.
It's a very intense game to learn, you know what I mean? It's got a high skill level.
Yeah.
You got to put a lot of time into this game, which I found. I've watched a lot of videos, you know, spent a bit of time, quite a bit of time playing, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it definitely comes with time, that game. And recently they brought out this new patch, which has caused quite a bit of controversy with the M4A1 buff, or nerf even. Decreasing armor penetration and changing the recoil pattern. What we've seen is actually people selling all of their skins for the M4 because they think that no one's going to use it anymore, and that is true. People are just switching to the M4.
For people who aren't familiar with, you know, online gaming or Counter-Strike Go, Counter-Strike Go is an online, you know, popular FPS first-person shooter with a twist. It's the first CS:GO Counter-Strike game that has its own market, and the funny thing about its market is it will charge you real money. So you buy the game, then you have to, like, if you wish to engage in this, pay real money for keys to open cases which have gun skins in them, and then you can sell those gun skins on to other people who play the game. But the funny thing is, they actually tax you for selling a gun, so selling a skin on the game, even though you've paid real money to get that skin, and they tax you for it. So basically they're making a killing off you selling skins and trading with other players, which is, it's shady for sure. But maybe you could argue it's a good business model because they've got more than enough money now to make the next 7 Counter-Strikes probably.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't think they're going to make a new one for a while. I've actually heard recently they're going to bring it to the Source 2 engine because, you know, if they made a new Counter-Strike now, it would almost destroy all of this economy that we've got in Counter-Strike Go as it is because, you know, everyone would just switch to the new game. All these new £400 knives, £2,000 Dragon Lore, you know, they'd all become obsolete and they wouldn't be worth anything anymore. And, you know, the community would go absolutely wild, you know, they'd go absolutely off of them. Like Valve, recently, they tried to make all the mods that you download, they made them into a paid thing, so you had to pay to download mods.
Yeah.
And the community kicked up and they removed that feature within a day, I think. Next day it was gone.
Wow.
So, you know, you definitely don't want to anger the PC gaming community. I mean, they're a very powerful force on the internet, you know. Yeah. This is their home. This is what they do.
I mean, we're part of that community.
They're definitely
We're not as elitist as some of them. But yeah, definitely.
No, I just...
You know, I think when it comes to being a console fan or a PC fan, when it comes to PC gamers, they take it much more seriously because the internet was originally designed for the PCs, so some people have got the mindset that it's elitist in some senses.
To be honest as well, man, it's quite a lot more expensive to buy into. I mean, you can get a decent PC for a good price. I mean, mine was fairly cheap and it runs games absolutely fine for me. I'm happy with it. But for the more expensive PC gear, like, you can get PCs up to £15,000 if you really wanted to. I mean, you can get the most ridiculously priced PCs, and I think that's where it comes from almost. The people at the top of that who have got these, like, at least £2,000 rigs. I mean, when I was looking for a PC, I was looking around, there's rigs for like $2,500 and stuff like that. And like, I think that's where it comes from. They put so much money into it. They've got that passion, you know. If someone puts that much money into something and like they really like it, you know, they're enjoying that. So they're really passionate about it. Whereas console gamers, they're a bit more like, you get a console, you don't have to play it all the time. Some people are really into it, but a lot of people just, you know, pick it up, play it with their friends or whatever. They don't like seriously play games on it. I think PC's a lot more serious like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as well as that, you know, for the new Final Fantasy 15 in the Windows, one of the Windows offices, I believe, they were like displaying what they can do with rendering and shadows on a computer with at least $6,000 worth of graphics cards in it alone. So when you're talking that type of money, people tend to get serious about it, don't they? Like, I mean, consoles.
Yeah.
I mean, arguably they're not cheap, but compared to like computers and things, they're relatively cheap. So, it's definitely a lot more. You know, a lot more investment when you buy a gaming computer. So there's a lot more elitism involved. And also I'd say when it comes to consoles though, they make their money from the games. I mean, they're charging like 50 quid a game, and that's pretty standard nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, what was it? Mad Max? That recently came out. I checked on PS4 and I think it was £60, £50 or £60 on PS4 store.
Yeah.
And I looked on Steam and it was like £35 full price, and I could actually get it on G2A for £10. So I think, you know, PC gaming is definitely a good way to go. If you're really into gaming, I think PC gaming's the way. Because, you know, the money you can save, like £60 for a game on PS4 when I could realistically get it for a tenner on PC.
And if you're really
absolutely
fucking
ridiculous.
Cheap, and I shouldn't really be saying this, but you know, if you really don't want to pay for games, you can always torrent them. You know, there's plenty of sites that, if you're on PC, you can just download games for free. So it's like, when you're on a PC, you're really saving money in the long term. If you're about that, you know, if you're into that sort of thing. I mean, I like to support the games I play, because I very rarely buy a game unless I believe in it. You know, the last game I bought was Metal Gear Solid because I've played it since it came out on the PS1. So, you know, I support that game. I wouldn't torrent a game personally, but if it's a game you want to play and don't really give a fuck about, yeah, why not? You know?
Yeah, I'm definitely the same with that. I don't disagree with torrenting, because I understand some people just don't have the money to buy these games and they really want to play them.
That's fair.
But personally, I have a real passion for gaming, so I like to, you know, appreciate and understand all the effort that's gone into this game, and I personally feel that's a service for me that's worth paying for. I mean, this game's giving me hours and hours of fun, so I don't have a problem with paying for that. These people are putting in effort, they're doing their skills, they're doing what they love, and they're bringing me something that I love, so why shouldn't I, you know, help them out for that? I really agree with buying the games, but then I don't agree with the high console price of games, because if on Steam you can sell them for half the price pretty much, then why can't we do that for consoles as well?
Exactly.
I don't think it should be split like that.
No. But
then, yeah, it's hard, man. It's a difficult topic.
It really is.
PCs versus consoles. I mean, you never agree with everyone. Everyone's got their own opinion, and that's good. Everyone should have their own opinion.
Yeah.
I like that people are they go against each other. I like that people have opinions.
People
like
are
that.
never as opinionated as when they're on the internet, are they? I mean, that is when people let their fucking inner demons out. Like, you read some YouTube comment sections, you're like, my god, this kid wants that kid to die of cancer, and then he wants to rape his family, and like, you read some of these things, it's like, just not the sort of things you would say in real life, you know? So why say it?
I actually watched a video earlier on Jack Frags' channel about, it was titled Everything Bad with the Internet. H1Z1, and it was just a video of, like, you know, the beginning stage of H1Z1 before you're into it, and everyone just playing music, telling people to die of AIDS and cancer, and I completely agree with that. That's what I've said that to you before many times when we're playing H1Z1, you know. This is literally the worst place in the internet. This is where all the bad people come to reside.
I'm just gonna say to that, have you ever played League of Legends? My god, I've been addicted to League for past 3 years. I still play it now and again, not so much committed to it anymore, but yeah, I used to rinse that game, and that has got the worst community you can imagine. Like, it is not uncommon to go into one single game and be like, people will rage each other. They will rage at each other so hard. They will tell each other to die of cancer. They will say they will kill your family. They will just flame and hate on you for no reason other than they take it so fucking seriously. League of Legends has got this whole thing of, if you're not trying to get pro, then you're wasting your time. But with that, then no one's enjoying the game, and they're just taking it too seriously. And half these people don't have the IQ to go pro. They don't have the knowledge or the general mechanics to get past a low league level, but yet they will rage at you like they're on their way to the fucking, the pro leagues. It's crazy.
I know, it's kind of similar in Counter-Strike as well. I don't know if it's to the same extent. I don't play League. I'm not a massive fan myself. It's not my type of game.
Yeah.
But, Counter-Strike's very similar. You can easily get into an argument with someone on your team and it will completely ruin the game. As soon as you start shit-talking anybody on your team, the game's lost.
Yeah.
Everyone's mentality's gone. Everybody just wants to lose because fuck this guy.
I mean, for you gamers out there, it's important to know that whether you go into a game with a positive or negative attitude, it is all about communication and having a positive mind frame when you're in the game. Like when you're playing, if you've got a negative attitude or a negative mindset, you're probably not going to win because it's all about your mindset. So, if you want to achieve things, and it's the same in life, not just gaming. I know we've been banging on about this, but the same thing in life. If you've got a negative mindset, you won't get very far. You've got to be positive, and you've got to be about progression. You've got to constantly try and progress where you're going, and that is how you achieve things.
Yeah, that's the way to get through life right there. Just keep your mentality positive. You can always get somewhere better. You can do what you love. You can do the impossible if you just believe. Just change your mentality.
It's like a famous cannabis quote: "A wise man sees failure as progress, but a stupid man sees it as just something he cannot do."
Yeah.
So,
You always learn from your mistakes.
As long as you're willing to learn, then a failure is never truly a failure. A failure is a pathway to success if you learn from it and you don't just give up.
Yeah, you can pull something from that. Like, you can definitely pull some knowledge from that. You can not make the same mistakes again. You know what not to do.
Yeah. Well, my brother, we've had a lengthy conversation. We've been here for 1 hour and 10 minutes roughly, so we're going to leave it there for today. Thanks for coming on the podcast, man. Great to speak to you.
Yeah, safe, man. Good
chat.
We'll see you all next time.
Peace.